And we are live. We are live. Sabaho, everybody. Sabaho. Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning with Tech. Today is December 12th, 2020. So it is 12/12/2020. Two doubles on a Saturday. What else can we ask for? Today's show is actually episode 50. We've turned a cornerstone there. The first 50 episodes under the belt at this point. This is kind of a big milestone, obviously, for 2020. It's something that I didn't even think we were going to be even able to reach at this point in time. Not only that, but also I didn't know if we were going to be able to continue this long. Like when we started it up again, the show itself just took a life of its own. With that being said, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everybody's doing great. Just want to make sure that we are running nice, and actually hopefully the system is running. I'm just going to double check. Let me see here, and we're going to open it up. Hope you guys are doing great. First and foremost, obviously, we're going to say is we're going to talk about a few things that came out this week. First and foremost is Cyberpunk 2077. If you haven't had a chance to play that game, it is absolutely amazing, the level of detail and the type of work that was done for this game. Now, obviously, with any type of launch, there's never a 100% everybody's happy kind of thing. There are a few hiccups that we can talk about. So I want to share with you guys my impressions after playing about almost 6-7 hours worth of gameplay. So I've already achieved. I've already started. First and foremost, I started with the street kids, so that's the path I chose. I'm sure a lot of people will start wondering. And I finally actually did meet up with Johnny Silverhand. So that's the main event. What most people want to be able to start playing is that interaction between your character and Johnny Silverhand, which is essentially is the main character of the story, a rock star, vigilante, anti-terrorism, or whatever you want to call him. And the story started actually kind of entangling. So I'm at that point where I've already kind of interacted with him. I'm not going to say too much. I'm not trying to make it into a spoiler type of an event. The other thing I also wanted to talk to you guys about today was, the Apple AirPods Max was announced out of the blue, just for no reason. Absolutely, just boom, it was there. One last hurrah for Apple. One last thing for Apple to kind of push it through. What I did want to actually double check, and just to make sure everybody's doing great, let me see if I can switch over here. I want to turn on the chat. I have a feeling StreamYard is doing this weird. I think StreamYard's having a problem because there's unless nobody's commenting, which is perfectly fine. But I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything by not seeing the comments in here. So let me go ahead. I'm just going to switch accounts. And then, so essentially that's where I am in the game right now. I played enough for the character. I built up my character. The story is actually very well thought of, and the details, the open world experience, you can actually deviate from the existing path, which is really fun. And what I really like about it is that we get a chance to experience the world that is, Johnny and everything else that's going on there. Let me just double check here. And yeah, no, it's good. Let me just close this here. I'm going to close the sound here on this so we don't actually have double sound going on. And I'll skip the ad. Oh, man. Yeah. So, okay. It seems like it's working. So yeah, that's basically where I am with the gameplay at this point. I'm actually at the point where I've already fused with Johnny, and we're starting to figure out that part of the story. So the story changes quite a bit. But what I like about it is that I decided to actually, based on a recommendation from Joshua Vergara, originally I was going to be playing it on the PlayStation 5. I was going to buy the PlayStation 4 edition disc and then wait for that to ship on launch day. And then, of course, then just play it on the PlayStation 5, which anticipating it to be just basically the best possible version. There's no PS5 version yet or Xbox Series 1. So you're buying the Xbox One version or the PlayStation 4 version. And of course, you basically played it on the next gen console. And that's really where kind of things started to go a little bit as far as the experience with the gameplay on this today. The overall experience as far as playing it on the PlayStation 5, if you're playing it on the PlayStation 5, I think most people reported no issues. The PlayStation 4 disc worked quite well, but then people playing it on the PlayStation 4 with the PlayStation 4 disc did have some problems, hiccups, some issues, connectivity, glitches within the system. Xbox had the similar story, and actually initially I thought that the PC was going to be almost immune of it. If you played it on the Xbox Series X, you probably got a much better experience. If you played it on the Xbox, obviously Xbox One, you didn't have as good of an experience, and that I think just needs to basically either been some updates, some type of improvement done from the obviously the label creating the game. The overall game experience, as far as right now, for me, the reason why I decided to go with this based on Josh's recommendation was because of ray tracing. I forgot about that. Basically, PC was the only one that's going to be supporting ray tracing, or if you're obviously running an RTX-based GPU on your PC. And then you can actually enjoy the entire game, the experience, the overall, everything about the actual game becomes so much better. And ray tracing, for the most part, enhances the gameplay from the sense of the secondary environmental elements, where you're able to see actually reflections of the elements and actually the mood of the element reflect correctly against other things. If there's water on the ground and you're seeing something in the sky, it reflects the exact point of reference as if the angle is actually positioned correctly. So it's more realistic as far as gameplay, as opposed to just seeing water on the ground and being just a water splash without reflecting. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse actually had the same experience on the PlayStation 5. If you turned on ray tracing, you dropped on the frame rate, but you got a much better gaming experience. So there was always kind of a give and take there. Let me just do one real quick check here and then jump back into the studio. If I'm not mistaken, I think we are live on the show. on the show. Let me just double check here. And for anybody that's in the comments, if you guys don't mind, if you just want to just drop in one comment, just more of a test. I want to make sure that the system here on StreamYard is not broken, because I'm getting no comments, and I'm typically by this point in the conversation, we have at least a few people saying hi, kind of a thing. But it could be just a solo show. Maybe today is a day I'm going to basically kick it by myself, and we'll have to go from there. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, obviously, is if you guys have followed me, followed me on Instagram and on Twitter, my son and I we got basically the Millennium Falcon Lego set. I'm just like, there's no real teasers around it. I've already posted. And we've been working on building it and putting it together. And we finally finished the project. The project is done. It actually is sitting right next to me here, and we're going to get a chance to check it out and check out all the new details. This is not the original Millennium Falcon set, so there's a much bigger set. This one's, I think, about 1,305, 1,350 pieces. Not a very massive set, but definitely something that it was. I feel like it was nice, and it was a good enough experience for us to be able to basically kick it together. Whoa, okay. I think StreamYard just woke up. Sorry. Good morning, Sabaho. Yes, so the main thing, what happened is, for some reason or another, StreamYard had no comments, nothing going on in the actual show. And I was trying to check it on YouTube. I was trying to check it into the system, but it wasn't working. And then suddenly, out of the blue, like 30 different comments came in. So Darren's in the comment, Ganesh is in the comment, Genuine is in there, Darren again, Alina FX2, Sakmat is in there as well. Davin Davis, thank you for all the comments, of course. Happy 50th. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Good morning. Greg is in the comment. Ganesh again. Fat Produce. Mr. Andrew Wallace. Good morning. Greetings. Ronaldo, My Tech Reviews also is in the comments. No, guys, I realize it. So realistically, it is the end of the year. We're pretty much almost in the middle of December. So there's literally about a couple of weeks left. Next week, for the most part, a lot of people by the end of next week probably going to be starting off their holiday break. So at least that's how my son's going to be through the end of the year. And then, of course, you have Christmas, New Year's, and then, of course, 2021, and hopefully CES, virtual CES will be there. Technology is also in the comment. Oh, man. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Sam is in there. The Apple AirPod Max. Okay, let's start it off with that. Andrew Wallace is jumping in. The Apple AirPod Max. Couldn't have done a better name. I'm getting Sennheiser's HD 599s for Christmas. That's how I feel about the AirPod Max. Sam is jumping in as well. I'm too busy playing Ghost of Tsushima. Okay. Well, I mean, so what happened? We're back. Man, StreamYard is on point. Last week, roughly about the same time, about 10 minutes in, it did that first one. So Ghost of Tsushima, I haven't actually got a chance to check it out, so I'm hoping it's a great game. Um, I actually wanted to play, Cyberpunk 2077 for quite some time, and I felt like my system was strong enough for that type of game because that was one of the games that a lot of people kind of like set the standard. And yeah, maxed out everything on a 2080 Ti with a 3900X Ryzen chipset. Uh, no complaints at all. System runs beautifully. Playing it at 240 hertz, it works really nice. And of course, with the ultra wide Odyssey G9 monitor. Um, Andrew's getting in the Sennheiser's HDs. I so I'm, I mentioned this before, and I was talking to Juan a couple of days ago, and I mentioned it to him, and I talked to Josh yesterday. So I decided to pick up the AirPod Maxes, not because I think that I'm expecting, obviously the best experience. I still think my my Sonys are going to be basically really good. Headphones are more of a unique, personal type of an experience. Once you find the right pair that works well for you, that you're able to get the audio that you feel like is very nice from it, I feel like this is something that it's hard for you to try to kind of keep shopping to try to find something better. What I'm trying to figure out is what is Apple's view of a pair of over-the-ear studio headphones, or what they're calling a studio headphones. They're really basically over-the-ears with noise cancellation. They're essentially a big version, or I would say like the over-the-ear version of the AirPods. But for some reason, it's not at double the price. It's actually more than double. And weirdly enough, in California, if you add tax to that, it's $601. So it's basically $600 for the pair of headphones. I'm interested to see what they're offering. I don't know if I'm going to be impressed. I don't know if this is going to work well. My main thing that I also want to mention is at the beginning, when I first got the AirPods Pro, one of my main appeal to those AirPods was the fact that they worked well on both Android and on iOS. You weren't really needing the system of the device to actually control. All the functions were built into the actual headphones, which make them basically easy to use on any system. So if I want to pair them to my PC, I want to pair them to my phone, Android be it, or iOS, it worked fine. So those are the things I'm kind of looking at it. Technology from India, and good morning, or good evening, actually. Ganesh, Cyberpunk. Hey, Joe's in the comment. Hello, man. Good morning. Joe, just for reference, the Millennium Falcon is done. It is done, and we're going to get a chance to check it out. Matt Tyler's in the comment, of course. Good morning. Got home from work. Hope you all are doing well. I just bought it on Stadia. Okay, so good. So Ronaldo's going to be playing it on Stadia. I have the red. I have the red that is that it run. Okay, I have the red that it runs now. No problem. They did fix the problems. There was initially some problems on Stadia. That was the other platform. Another test comment. Thank you very much, Davin. Appreciate it. So up to this point, I think 1, 2, 3 testing. Yeah. So there was a lot of delays. Okay, Marilyn. Good morning. And I think there's going to be some delays. It seems like either StreamYard or YouTube is doing some funky stuff. But to kind of circle back. I think my initial impressions of what I saw was a very well built piece of equipment. So I've watched the videos. I'm sure you guys have checked them out as well, or if you even consider those. Juan had an impromptu live stream. If you guys haven't had a chance to check that out, he also had one there with El Jefe and of course Board at Work E. And that actually was a very nice little kind of conversation going back and forth with what they're originally kind of releasing. In the past, we've seen this. Apple tends to overpromise and somewhat deliver. They don't never. I don't think they ever come to the point where they don't deliver. They just never always. They don't always deliver on that bar that they give you. The M1 chipset with the processing, a lot of people are praising it. I hopefully will be checking it out at some point. Does it actually perform as fast as it's supposed to with the level of work or the level of basically editing that I like to do? That's really what I was looking for. Anything that can help me save time when I'm editing or even producing, that always becomes a very big plus for me. So especially we're traveling with a long battery life. So those are things that I always look for, especially on mobile systems. So that's something that I want to look at. But before we go too far, I do want to share this with you guys and kind of get this so you guys can get a chance to check it out and see how well built this thing is. Let me just make some space. I didn't prepare. I'm just kidding. I was trying to prepare and get on time, but unfortunately I was running a few minutes late. So here we are. So this is the Millennium Falcon. So let's go ahead and do this. So this is the Millennium Falcon built. Took us roughly, I would say, about an hour or so per bag. There was 10 bags of pieces in there, and we did it in stages. We couldn't basically, try to do all of it in one sitting. It's 1,350 pieces, so it's not, by no means, it's not going to be an easy one day kind of a thing. Let's go ahead and turn on the overhead, and I'll turn on the little transition. We'll give it a second to start, and here we are. So. And I'll move my keyboard here so we can get a chance to look at it a little bit better. So the pieces, as you can see here, so this is the actual, the front part of the actual Millennium Falcon. You can see it right there. There's some nice phasers, some nice actual launchers. You can actually shoot these things by just pressing the buttons here. So you're, I think it's one of these. Oh, wait, is it this one? And that's how I lost the first piece. No, just kidding. So yeah, very easy to lose pieces, and here you are, and again it just goes in there. And it looks really nice. There's two shooters on the top, and of course there's different compartments. We have the antenna that's present right there. We have also a nice little phaser sitting at the top. The front opens up in a more of a sliding option, so you have to slide this down. So you can open the front hood, you open another one, you open another one, and then of course you have the front part, which essentially is the not necessarily the cockpit control, but basically, we're Chewie stealing C-3PO, R2-D2, a few of the Mandalorians that we had in here from the collection for my son. And then of course we open up on the back. We have a nice little kitchen area. Open one more here. There's a nice little hidden compartment right there to be able to hide different carriers. If you're smuggling anything, you hide it in the back. Little board piece. A bed area, of course, some more Mandalorians. There's a couple more Mandalorians in there. And of course, all of this just closes very, very nicely. And this one actually slides up. So like I said, it just slides up, and then you can just basically position it. And you get the customizations. You can see all the level details, all the different pieces, the nice little phasers in the back with the lighting in there. And of course, if we flip it over, we can see here that we have some another one right here. This is like a nice little phaser that's sitting at the bottom. There's 4 feet, and then there's this little setup here to open up the landing pad. So those are the options that you get at the bottom, and this is that little hiding compartment sitting inside. And of course, now if we turn it over on this side, we can see here Lando sitting right there in the cockpit, configured. And let's go ahead and remove him. You can see right there, he's sitting in there in the controls. Everything else is just done right. And it just looks really nice. I have to say, it really, like, a lot of work was put into the design of this little guy. So that was one of the things I really appreciated. It was very, very nice. And I think StreamYard is doing this again, where I am not able to see comments at all. Like the last comment I see, just for point of reference for everybody, is Joe's comment at 11:02, which is weird. That is just weird. And I know you guys are commenting on YouTube, so I'm trying to see if I can jump into the YouTube side. Let me see here. Okay. Ever since, let's jump back here. Oh, you know what? Maybe let me open it up sideways. Yeah, I don't know. I really wish I knew. Oh, here it is. Live chat. No, I think it's a YouTube thing. I really think it's a YouTube thing this time. I don't know why, but it seems like either YouTube's comment system is just taking either a dive or something. I'm not sure. That is a very weird thing to do. I don't know. Okay, well, if there was another way, I wish there was another way for me to kind of either figure out how to get this thing to run. Hold on, let me see if I can open it up as just watching the show itself. So let's see here. We're trying to troubleshoot it live. Last thing I want to do is actually restart the live stream, because that would definitely may not actually end up giving me what I'm trying to do. So let's go right here. I'm going to go to my channel. The live stream is going. It says there's 24 people in there. I'm just going to pause. I don't want to actually have it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Davin Dave. Okay, so I can see the comments. Okay. Well, now, Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to do it this way. That's about the only way I can actually interact with you guys, which I really felt YouTube Davin, you're messing, yeah, man. You're just messing with me now. Okay, so let's do this. It looks like it is going to be a very fun show on the 12/12/2020. Uh, but let's do this. Okay, so the comments on YouTube or at least on StreamYard are not working. That part I know for sure. So at this point, what we're going to do is I'm just going to use the YouTube comments straight from the actual YouTube video, live stream. So I'm looking in through the comments. I'm new on this channel. Hey man, good morning, Marilyn. Good morning, Sabaho. Devin is in there. Happy 50th. I see those guys. Matt, that's so. Dude, I appreciate it, man. No, it looks really nice. It took a lot of work. That little setup. I was a little bit skeptical at the beginning because I've done Lego sets before, and they typically like a more smaller, little detailed one. And then I was also kind of very interested in how they make this into a playable set, because you don't want to just buy it, put it together, and it just looks nice. Because obviously this was intended for my son; it wasn't really for me. So he's definitely going to be able to play with it and enjoy it. And my hope essentially is that it holds up really well, which it's actually surprisingly quite heavy. There's so many pieces in there; it actually has a lot of weight into it. So definitely really nice. And Joe's. The Porsche design. Oh, okay. Wait. The Mate 20 Porsche design. I know there's a few Porsche designs coming in. I wanted one, ended up with the Mate 20 Pro instead, and I always wanted the Porsche design model though. The Mate 20 Pro is definitely one of my favorite Mate 20s devices as far as the series of devices from Huawei. My SIM card in that phone lasted for almost 6 or 7 months. It was that much how much I liked that phone. And that was mostly because of what that phone represented and what it actually did at the time. That was very unique. The reverse wireless charging was actually, I would say, premiered on that device. That was like the first device to have a reverse wireless charging. It has a 4,000 milliampere battery that charged with a 40-watt charger. Yeah, so you had fast charging, curved edges, small design, a QHD resolution display. I don't think we had stereo speakers. I don't remember. But I know that at least the experience on that phone was really nice. Obviously, GMS and all of that good stuff. And the cameras were really nice. So, okay, let me see here. Is there more comments in there? No. Oh, okay, I see what it is. Okay, and I think it's if I jump over to time now, is the comment system going to be working? I think YouTube's comment system is bunked today. Yeah, YouTube. Hold on. Let's go back and let's go live. Okay. No, not having it today. Okay. So we're gonna have to. I'm just gonna have to go forward with it. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. YouTube is just being YouTube. It just. Okay, so now I'm starting to see some comments coming in. They're moving slowly. Oh no. Okay, it's working somewhat, and I hope it's gonna keep. I hope it keeps working. Okay, the last comment. No, we're back to YouTube jank. Oh yeah, I would love the Porsche design. Okay, so it is what it is. I cannot. I don't know how to fix YouTube today. So today is going to be YouTube is on a break. YouTube comments are on a break. So I'll go ahead and put this guy. So I'll put him back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed looking at that. Obviously, it was a lot of hours, a lot of work, and it was one of those things I wanted to kind of show you guys because I know a few of you guys were asking me about it. And StreamYard. Oh, okay. Here, let me see here. Okay, now we have another a deluge of comments. Okay, greetings, Earthlings. First toll gate checking is great. Yes, so that was so for me it was so Ganesh was jumping in on some of the comments in there. So depending on which path you took, I chose to go with the Street Kid mostly because I felt like that was going to be the most action-based one. There's obviously the Nomad, and then there's the Corp, and then there is the Street Kid. So I wanted to go straight into that. The glitches that I've actually seen are few and far apart, not heavy, massive glitches. My problems that I've seen a few times, like when I'm playing a game, there was one scene I was sitting in with Dex, and we were in the car, and that was early in the game, a few hours earlier where I am now. And he was drinking some type of a drink. It was a very hot, almost like hot chocolate or something like that. And you can see the smoke coming out of the cup, just kind of enjoy it. Obviously, it's hot. And as he's sitting there, he has his hand resting on his knee, and then he lifts his hand and he takes a sip from it. But then the smoke from the cup stayed where it was next to him. And we're back. Today is technical problems. Today is live streaming technical problem day. That's how we're going to do it. Funny, a bunch of people said hi. Just yes, it is. I think there's people are enjoying the debacle that is today's show. No, I chose the street kid. I didn't go with the corporate. I felt like the corporate was too much like espionage and too low blow kind of conversation. I'm actually the street kid that has to go and do all the hustle, the punching match, and actually has to go in and steal the tech and a whole bunch of stuff. Hopefully I'm not messing the storyline for many people in there. It's something's going on with YouTube, Ganesh. I don't know what it is. But it seems like for some reason or another, the YouTube's live stream chat is frozen and it doesn't seem to be updating. StreamYard is having its own time. We'll do it alive. Yeah, nothing is moving. It's a weird thing going on. Okay, YouTube isn't working as you. Something is definitely going on. So Greg, I can see your comment from Twitch. I can definitely see it from Twitch, but I can't see other people's comments. Switch to Twitch. You know, actually, speaking of which, maybe it may not be a bad idea. If you're having problems with the chat over on YouTube, the show is actually concurrently live streamed to Twitch and on YouTube. So if you do have a better experience there, I'd recommend just jumping in on that. It does aggregate for both. Oh, how good is Mando? So Mandalorian. Yesterday's episode was a shocker. If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, that seriously like changed the whole. Like there was so many things going on yesterday with the episode that should not have happened. Let's just say that. Two rules, not just one, two big rules that Mando lives by were like literally shattered. That's the best. That's the only thing I can say. And I don't want to mess too many spoilers. Scott's coming. Hey man, good morning. Well, good afternoon, Scott. Hey man. Hopefully it works. I'm hoping the comments work. I really don't want buffering. Yeah. It is one of those things today. YouTube is just being YouTube. Oh man. Okay, let me see if I can get it to come back up here. I think it should be working now. Yes, so Matt's jumping in with no. Okay, so I can see it now. I think we're back to normal. Twitch is working and YouTube seems to be working. Mehmet, if you're asking, originally I was born in Lebanon. So I was born in Lebanon, but I came here when I was really young, but I was like 17 or so. So I've been here for quite some time. So, but yeah, Lebanese originally, first name Tarek. TK is what I go by. So for Twitch, let me see if I can post a link to that one. Here, view on Twitch, continue. Sorry, I'm just going to get here we are. So for people that are in the chat, if you want to check it out on Twitch, just hit it up on just basically twitch.tv/TKBay8655. It's the same username for Instagram. And oh, well, interesting enough, I apparently posted the. Oh, okay. So that's what it is. It posts the comment on both sides, on Twitch and on YouTube. Yes. So the experience that you get there is very, very much. I would say very, very interesting. The show was surprising. There was a lot of cool things going on. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, Mandalorian is really, really hitting it out of the park. The season has been great. The last few episodes have been great, like literally one after another. And it's hitting that point where you want to watch basically just to see what's going on. So, hey, everybody's on Twitch. Hey, man, see, it's much easier. Ronaldo's on there. Greg, Chemi's on there. Matt Tyler's. Yeah, I have a feeling. I think maybe we should have just done it on Twitch, just straight on Twitch, and just posted it later. Yes. Well, I think we'll have to see how it goes. So Mandalorian was yesterday. If you guys had a chance, I'll let you guys watch then, and you guys can let me know what you guys think if you did get a chance to check it out. If you heading to the main island tomorrow. How's everything in your world? Honestly, we're going through another round of closures here. So at least in LA and LA County, our numbers are getting really bad lately. And Mando for president. You know what? The character is developed quite well. The character's personality, his connection to the child or Grogu at this point, has definitely grown on me, and which is something that I didn't really see coming. Because that whole relationship was mostly just him carrying, taking him from one place to another, and now there is more. Like the end of last night's episode, he like I said, there was a few things he put there that just makes it so much better. But I'll let you guys use it. I do, Mehmet, I do watch Netflix, but I'm mostly on trying to keep up right now with looking forward to what's it called, oh man, Wonder Woman 1984 that's coming up in another week or so on HBO Max. So that definitely is really nice. And hey, Marilyn, deja vu, definitely always. I think this is much better. I feel like it works much easier, much better for everybody. If you guys want to jump on over on Twitch, because it works. It seems like it's working a lot better on the comment side, even on my end. So that's one thing. Surprising what he did, but there's something behind his story also. Absolutely, yeah. No, obviously we're learning more and more, and there's more buildup on the character, but it's more of the, like, it was that one thing that you knew he would never do, right? It was like, it was always that, they've always been different scenarios, different conversations, different moments, and you're like, is he not? And then it suddenly just happens, and then you're like, and he's so, I mean, he obviously is not comfortable with it, but it's just very weird. Today is the day that I get more people following me on Twitch. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. So that was really exciting yesterday. So I'm really happy with that. We got a chance to finish the Millennium Falcon this morning, and I have been going into time warps with Cyberpunk 2077. That was really what I wanted to kind of touch base with you guys. And I'm debating if I want to actually start streaming some of that, because I'm seeing some problems with copyright issues. First, that so the system, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, the system has a built-in option that disables copyrighted songs out of the system. So essentially, is by turning that switch off, you're able to actually live stream the game without having to worry about anybody or any kind of label trying to take a copyright claim on your part of your stream. And then about a day or so ago, I saw some comments actually from the Cyberpunk 2077 account, saying that even with that switch off, there is still some songs in there that could get you copyrighted. And then they basically explained, I think, what part of the scene that this song is in there. So the short answer is, I'm waiting for that kind of problem to kind of get worked out. Across the pond, man. Oh, is Aditya in the? I didn't see Aditya. I'm trying. I want to say. I thought I saw everybody. Davin Davis is in there. Matt, Joe, Ronaldo. I saw Marilyn in there as well. Matt Tyler and Greg. So the answer for that system, though, is I want to be able to start streaming some of the content, because it's just a beautiful experience. I want to basically stream it when I'm using a slightly smaller monitor. I don't know if it'll work well if I do the aspect ratio that I have with my monitor right now is it's not a regular wide, it's an ultra wide. And that's something I need to kind of work out the mechanics. And I can't start Cyberpunk, still playing through Shadowlands. So there's also the update to Warzone 2 that just came out as well not that long ago. Everybody says Ronaldo, but I say Ronaldo. Which one is it? Oh, you call it Rolando or Ronaldo? Yeah, actually, maybe that is true. Rolando. I'm sorry. I am totally sorry, Rolando. For some reason, I went with Ronaldo for so long. It is Rolando. Definitely, we'll make a point to call it out correctly. Rolando. Everybody, join me and say hello to Ronaldo. I do apologize for messing up the name, and I want to say it's my fault for quite some time. And of course, you have Matt jumping in there, said, nope, Ronaldo's your name. Accept it. Move on. No, I want to say that's how I want to say. I think I caught his name either during Juan's chat or somebody else's, and I heard it as Ronaldo, and I never thought of correcting it. And I think for the most part, most of the places I've seen him, I've always seen him as My Tech Review. So that's the only other thing. But we've met. That was the only other thing we talked, but it was a few years ago. So that's probably where I may have started my mistake. What? Oh, what does it mean on my show? Oh, sorry. This is a Dragon Ball Goku and young Goku. Well, actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is Goku when he was in when he was wished down. So this is GT series Goku with regular Goku. This is Dragon Ball. Big fan of Dragon Ball on the show. That's why I'm Sam. And too slow to know anything complicated to frame. It is one of those. Suraj just joined us as well. Joe Hickey's in there as well. My Tech Reviewed. Nah, I think Matt is just messing. And yeah, no, Ronaldo. And I'll say that correctly. I know I said that a few times. Yeah, so my only thing right now with gaming on this type of a game, though, the gameplay on the system right now is just crazy. Even with the little glitches that I see here and there, obviously as a launch, I feel like this is a great launch. A lot of people were wondering, it's like, should they have waited a little bit to push out maybe another update before they release it? The reality of the matter is that they were so late to start with. To delay it even more would be just literally, yeah. I mean, they're not releasing PS5s and Xbox Series X versions of it. They're releasing current gen models. So think of it even in that sense. That's how late they are. They've set it up to run on an older system, but it will run, actually, it runs much better on the new systems as well. So I'm really excited about that one. I am kind of sad that Warzone, at least in the current version that I have, it is not getting another season pass. I know it's mostly a gaming experience today on the show, but games are such a big way for us to socialize and talk about things in general. And I feel like this is something, since Matt and I and Sam and Andrew got a chance to play a few games not that long ago, and obviously we want to start a new one. Oh, speaking of which, before I forget, I did want to mention one little exciting thing. Well, the exciting thing coming up next Thursday, and I don't know if Juan is in the chat lurking as he typically does sometimes. Next Thursday, not Saturday, next Thursday night, Juan and I are actually launching a brand new show. So we're going to be launching a new show that's going to be a weekly occurrence, a podcast that we're going to be hosting together. And I think we kind of hinted at it a little bit in the beginning. We tried talking. It took us some time to kind of find some time to sit down and talk about it. And I'm really excited about it. We're still working on the name. The name hasn't been officialized. It will basically be like in late afternoon, almost like I want to say like in the evening of Thursday, so that it becomes more easier, more consistent for us to be able to kind of work it out with our different schedules and channels and all that stuff. So the inaugural launch episode will be next Thursday night. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be the 17th. Yes, so that would be the 17th. Juan will talk a little bit more about it on Monday as on his show, so we'll get a chance to get some more comments there. We're working out the details. That's pretty much what it's pretty much going to be, that kind of thing. Oh, okay. So Warzone says basically, so Matt's jumping in with Warzone will be getting season 1 to a cross pass between Cold Wars and Warzone, but that's been delayed until the 16th. Oh, okay. So that explains it, because if you guys have played the game before with Warzone, there's game passes that kind of come up. So they've had season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 just ended, like I think was it a few days ago, and there was no season 7 in sight. Now we know that Cold War is one of their new games that they're trying to basically push people to go into. Now, some people play the game. Some people like to play the Warzone part, basically the hashing out, play games with everybody else. I like to play Warzone as much as when I'm hanging out with Matt and Sam and Andrew. And I think generally what I like to do with like multiplayer and something like some of those side games, I want to be able to play them and enjoy playing the characters, getting the new equipment, and the new skins and so on. All of those things work really nice. Will it run? Hold on. Somebody's asking, will it run on both channels? I'm not sure what will run on both channels. Sorry, Maz, if you won't mind maybe just commenting on that one. So Joe, I am with you. Team Deathmatch is literally my favorite game. It's easy, it's quick. You know exactly what the point of the game is. You're just going in there, you're teaming it up, and you're just knocking people out. And I'm really just excited. I want to see new maps. Not that I'm kind of tired of the existing maps, but I literally have a spot now. I know exactly, like I spotted areas where I'm playing different things with Deathmatch. 10 versus 10, capture the flag. And I think it's free for all is also fun, but it's a little bit too chaotic because you're just going for everybody. So it becomes a little bit crazy. You're bound to basically, it's hard to have the KD count kind of be really high on that one. Uh, oh, sorry. Yes. I think so. Sorry. So Greg, I think, is commenting on that one. Hardcore free for all. That is just crazy, man. Um, so the podcast, at least for right now, I think we're deciding. If I'm not, if it changes, I'm sorry if I'm just kind of give you guys a heads up a little bit. Um, I think it's initially going to be running on my YouTube and Juan Carlos's Twitch. So Juan Carlos will run it on Twitch. I'll run it on the YouTube side. And I'm assuming at some point we'll figure out a mechanism where we're able to basically get it to run. The existing system right now is, at least we're trying to figure out a dual stream without having to actually have a dual stream per se. So we can run it the way we normally have done it in the past, where either he shows up as a guest on my show or I show up on his. We're just trying to figure out the mechanics of running it as a stream. So yeah, it will be running on 2 channels, but not on both YouTube. I think Juan prefers Twitch, so that I think that was the agreement that we made it on our side. Yeah. So okay. So here it is. Let me just double check. So that was the question. For the Thursday show, will it run on yours and Juan's channel? It's going to run on my channel on YouTube and Juan's Twitch. So if you're subscribed to Twitch, you're already there. And I think it works in a certain way, at least for right now, it works really nice. I don't have a lot of, I mean, I have you guys now on Twitch, which is really cool. But I think Juan has a lot more. He's done the Twitch stream much more consistently for a much longer time. And for us, I think YouTube side for me kind of works out the best. So the goal essentially is to make it more of a consistent thing. So the show should basically have its inaugural first live stream on Thursday, the 17th of December. So literally about 5 days. I didn't realize it was 5 days from now. That was actually pretty quick. New to Twitch 2020. Okay. Well, with this YouTube, okay, so let's say, well, with this YouTube jank here, I don't blame Juan for staying on Twitch. I'm with you. I was actually kind of, this is the first time I've had a situation where the comments on YouTube was just really like very weirdly just automatically hit there. The other problem with YouTube is comment character limitations. That's the other thing. Yeah, IR 1980. I know it's one of those. It's going to be a little bit hard for us to kind of figure out how to make it kind of finalized or become more official. But the kickoff of the show was the initial thing. If we start it, we work on it, and we're trying to make it again a weekly show. It'll definitely be something fun for us to not only just to hang out, but also to get a chance for us to kind of hang out with you guys as a kind of like a co-hosting effort. And I feel like if you guys, I always enjoy hanging out with Juan in person or virtually. And this is just going to be that. It's going to be it's definitely going to be more chill level, hanging out with each other and talking and hanging out with you guys and chit chatting. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe someday we'll also have some guests and so on. We can also start inviting some more people in there and have have more of a roundtable kind of a conversation. Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Sometimes change is good, though. Definitely. Let's jump here real quick. Oh, Sakmat is mentioning here is that your viewers and comment on the M1 chip and the ARM-based processors of Qualcomm, Intel, AMD got new competitors' next update on it. So the current level, so the current system that's going on since the last couple of times we had a chance to talk. Last week we talked about the Snapdragon 888, the new chips, the ARM's approach or ARM's availability for desktop-like experiences. We saw it last year with the SXX, I think from Qualcomm, which they were basically releasing some of the more mobile PCs, always connected PCs, and it's running basically a Windows on ARM. The M1 experience that just came out from Apple is obviously something that is Apple's own silicon. It runs longer, it uses less power. Obviously, it's more efficient, produces things very fast. And that just shows how much mobile technology or mobile processors are powerful now, powerful enough to actually compete in the realm of desktop PC experiences. The next generation, I think we're looking at as far as competitors right now, we haven't seen much other than ARM and, with Qualcomm and with the M1 chip from Apple. I think those right now, what we need to see is more adoption in there. Apple jumping into the actual system allows us to actually see more functionality, see more adoption, people more comfortable buying a Windows on ARM based experience. Not everything still runs on Windows on ARM. There's still a compatibility issue with unless you're running it straight or in a VM experience. So if you run it in a virtual environment, sometimes you're able to get certain games, certain not just games, but like programs to run. To this day, I haven't heard of Adobe fully officially releasing a Windows on ARM based option for them. That's a big move for them if they start releasing it. Chipsets in 2021 seem to be basically shifting over to, at least on the mobile devices, into 5 nanometers. So we saw that from Huawei, we saw that from Apple, we saw that from even from Samsung, if I'm not mistaken. I think the 1080 is supposed to actually be a 5 nanometer chipset. We're starting to see some leaks on that. The S21 is leaking as if it's not something that we anticipated at this point, but I think we obviously are taking it with a grain of salt. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of clips, a lot of things showing off on Twitter, on YouTube, and so on, with basically early hands-on with an S21. Honestly, I looked at it. It looked like it had a flat display. It was interesting why there was 2 pieces of tape on the bottom part of the display. I don't know why there would be an indicator there, unless, if I'm not mistaken, the way Samsung does it is that they put in the serial number of the user on the bottom part where the navigation bar is. And I think that's probably what they're hiding. But yeah, no. Heard good things about the Exynos chip. The Exynos chips, I think the only thing I've heard on that is right now. I see both comment, Mehmet. Sorry, it comes up on both sides, but I think what happened is because there's a few people jumping in after another. Twitch seems to be working 100%, and YouTube is a little bit slow. So I don't know if you have access to Twitch by any chance, Mehmet, but if you could jump on Twitch, I think it'll work a little bit better. Here, the new for Twitch 2020, I think the Exynos chipset is promising. It looks very promising, at least from the early leaks, from the benchmarks that we're seeing. I haven't seen an official release or anything saying that Exynos will be running across, because there's a few rumors also talking that Samsung's going to be using an Exynos all across, so there's not going to be a Qualcomm variant on it. Although, I think if I'm not mistaken, some of the benchmarks were also showing Qualcomm chipsets. So the 888 was benchmarked on an S21. So there's different stories going on, but the Exynos 1080 seems to be the next iteration of their processor seems to be powerful enough. The question would be does it have the same throughput or the same power that what we've seen in the past, where it was powerful, but it was just basically not power efficient on the system? Benchmarks don't give you the whole story because it's just a point of time or point in time. So for me, what I've seen is at least it's promising. I definitely appreciate what they're bringing in there. And it definitely makes me excited to see if that basically Google starts using Samsung for their chipset, that basically building their own chipsets for their own devices. Sorry, phone answers whenever I say the name. Oh man, let me see here. Muhammad Tawaz, ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan, Muhammad from Dubai. Man, hey man, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Speaking of Dubai, actually very in the Middle East, MediaTek is. Oh yeah, definitely. So Matt's jumping in here. MediaTek is what I'm low-key right now, looking at right now, for 2029 with the Dimensity chip. So MediaTek has been slowly working almost in the background, like under the radar for the most part. And they're improving their chipsets. They're getting better and better as time goes on. I can say that at least in 2020, with the release of the original Dimensity, I think it's the Dimensity 1000 that they released, they've gotten better. They've gotten a lot better in the actual, multi ISPs, 5G support on their chipset, and of course, they are always more affordable from the price point. They're still not as dominant as far as a presence in the US when it comes down to devices. Like I think the only device that I remember in the near past that definitely had a Dimensity chip in the US that was a big device was the Velvet on T-Mobile. T-Mobile released their version with a MediaTek processor as opposed to the Qualcomm version that we saw with other carriers. So that was a slight shift, and Juan had no problem with it. There was no issues. I think the overall impressions that he had with it was actually very nice. So definitely MediaTek is the little the hidden one is sitting there. But I did want to talk about what Joe's commenting right now is surprisingly, if you guys noticed the entire announcement with Qualcomm the announcement at the beginning of the December, on December 2nd, was all focused on the 888. There was no mention of the mid-range, right? The 775 or the 785 or the 765 or whichever. and I know he's going with the 777 because they may continue the numbering scheme. Um, but I think the reality is we want to know what is the mid-range and why was there an omission of it. I was part of a conversation with with some of the people over at Qualcomm. They did comment saying that things are coming. They did not say that this was not happening. So obviously they're not going to get rid of the mid-range. The short answer is we don't have a specific date. They have not announced when that announcement is going to be made. Last year, if 2020 was an indicator of the way the chipset release of at least devices with chipset, the beginning of the year, 865 was king. Everything that was releasing was shooting for an 865, and if it wasn't an 865, it was a 6 series processor. So we didn't see any of the 7 series. In the middle of the year, like around June or so, we started to see a small number of devices. I think the Nord came out with it. Then we started to see other devices come out with it, like the Velvet, and the other devices start showing off the 7 series with 5G, and that's where it started becoming more prominent. So there is a possibility of a staggered release, so we'll probably have another online event from Qualcomm in the near future that where they talk about the 777 or the mid-range, whatever their mid-range 5G chipset is going to be. Because if you're, as Joe was mentioning, I think, I think with now the switch to virtual announcement, OEMs going to piecemeal the announcement and goof the mystery bus. I don't disagree. So let's just say that Samsung and Apple, perfect example of obviously piecemealing this entire process. I feel like they've chosen to so from a production standpoint, availability of people and so on, yes, hands down, it's much easier for a company to release an announcement and make an announcement virtual. Having no worry about media and concurrent events and so on like that. I think your biggest concern is obviously releasing it on the same day as, let's say, Apple releasing something. That would be your biggest concern. Just make sure to stay away from whenever Apple shows up, kind of a thing. Just mostly because of the vortex that Apple creates when it comes to media. It just almost like everything else around it doesn't exist. But yes, piecemealing it, providing us different events. The event for Qualcomm, I felt like, with the exception of the hands-on experience, which is something that I had an opportunity to play with last year. So there was no benchmarks done on the 888. We didn't get a chance to check out and see how the process or the reference devices were running. We had some numbers, we saw some experience, but it was generally Qualcomm's event. They made the announcements. We saw what they were talking about. They did a couple of demos with some RC cars and so on. But I think at the end of the day, I think OEMs are going to be going into that whole piecemeal situation because they can. Right? If it was a full-on event where they had to hold and rent a venue and get a whole bunch of people, obviously that they wouldn't be able to. And that's where we generally used to see in the past, where one major event announced a whole bunch of stuff. At the beginning of the year, Samsung, I think, was the only one that had an event in 2020 that was not virtual, right? San Francisco launch of the S20 line of devices with the original Z Flip. I think those were definitely the major highlight of this year, that and CES 2020. CES 2021, just for reference, has started registration. So if you guys are able to attend or you're part of the media or so on, you're able to apply. And I think it seems like, if I'm not mistaken, the MWC got pushed out to middle of next year. So we'll have to see how that goes. And we'll see how things go realistically with different events and going on. But the 777 is what I'm looking for because I feel like a lot more devices are going to be powered by that phone, by that chipset. The 888, as powerful as a chipset as it is, I feel like that's going to be driving the more around the $900 to $1,000, $1,200 type of devices, and that's mostly because of the price tag that OEMs have to pay for the chipset. So that's the entry level, where the 7 series will definitely be more affordable for many people. And I think I hope Google does follow through with the existing the existing mold or the existing recipe that they used in 2020, the one they used with the the Pixel 4, the 4a, the 4a 5G, and the Pixel 5, and go with that for 2021. Now they may miss on some new improvements in the hardware where it comes like with the triple ISPs that we see with the 888. But again, computational photography is what Google's known for doing best. And of course, as long as we get more powerful processors that can power more features, we'll be able to get better experiences there, of course. And of course, I mean, the S21 is rumored to be releasing in literally less than a month, somewhere around the middle of January, so right around CES. Although I'm not 100% sure on that, because every year people say that Samsung's going to release it earlier. We saw some leaks somewhere where it was confirming to be earlier, but I don't know if it's announcement or is it a launch, or because it's a big launch, right? The S series is literally how Samsung kicks off the year, so we'll have to see how that goes. Um, here. Uh, If that's the shift, I wonder how these OEMs will manage leaks. I could see OnePlus doing teasers all the time in 2021, and it did that. Just to reference that, actually in 2020, they did actually tease their own devices. They're on their own channels. We've seen that. They did that with the Nord. They did it with the OnePlus. I think one. Welcome back, and Goku this time. OnePlus did actually tease a lot of their own releases this year, so we saw a lot of leaks from them. The reality is, leaks will happen. That one video with the S21 doing hands-on was truly. I was like, I mean, seriously, I mean, it was very nice. You could see a lot about the device, obviously, except the information. I'm actually intrigued of the new design. I like it a little bit more than what we had with that massive bump. Incorporate the camera setup into the actual side of the phone, making it even more unique. Although, of course, if you put a case on it, I'm not sure how much that's going to be. But Matt's jumping in with if OnePlus wants the 888 on the OnePlus 9, unfortunately, that means the OnePlus 9 will be more than $1,000 to cover the cost of the 888. That's the thing. Yes. So that was, again, the biggest thing that I'm also looking into is the reality is how much is this chipset going to be in, how much is the price going to be at the OEM level, and how much of that is going to be transferred over to the user. OnePlus is sorry. OnePlus's decked out OnePlus 8 Pro in 2020 was $999, and that was the decked out, the 12 gigs, 256 gigs of internal storage, all of the options that you wanted on a OnePlus 8 Pro. Now that was with the 865. Let's look at the way OnePlus has been doing it in the recent years, and we also obviously factor in the 888 in there. There's a good chance that the top of the line OnePlus 9 or 9 Pro is probably going to be around 1100, maybe 1050, close to 1100. I mean, they're starting to push into that territory. I hope OnePlus finds a way to be able to keep it at around that $1,000. I think people appreciated that mark, to be able to say, look, our best device, which beats all these other guys, is still around $1,000. We're not trying to push it. And of course, we'll have to see what the OnePlus 9 offers. So the 9 Pro will obviously be, pushing the limits, providing everything at that level. And we'll have to see what goes in there. Greg's jumping in with a recommendation. Across the USA with TK and Juan. I like it, Greg. I like it. The only thing is that we live literally about 25 minutes or maybe 30 minutes away from each other, so it would be more like across LA, not USA. Across LA with TK and Juan, or with Juan and TK. We'll have to see how that one. We'll see how that goes. Greg. Make it Juan and TK and Juan and TK. It makes sense. Yeah, maybe actually. So across the USA with Juan and TK, it actually rhymes better. You're right. It does. USA TK. It actually has that better rhyme across the USA. But honestly, it would have to be across LA. Nothing against the USA, but we're in LA. always looking at it and see how it is. I want to see. I missed some. Okay. Here. Nameshi is saying Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. He's saying hi. Sorry, he's just saying hi in Arabic in there. IR in 1980 saying, what do you make of the Fuchsia OS? Oh man, Fuchsia OS is coming back. Well, not really coming back, being more open sourced, right? Google's looking for developers to help basically the progress with Fuchsia OS. It's kind of went under the radar for some time. What role do you think it will play in the future, and what are your thoughts? So initially, I'm going to say is I was surprised to hear more about that. Honestly, for some reason, I thought that the actual project was kind of put to the side. They kind of left it. The fact that it's still around, I think it's exciting. The fact that they're asking for help, I'm not sure how much that's going to help the development in a new OS with Fuchsia OS. It's going to be something more. it's harder because of the development side, right? You're asking for other people to help you build the system that you're trying to push forward. So the development on it obviously is only going to be driven by if people want to be able to be invested in this. So I think the onus having it on the developers makes it a little bit hard to help develop the ecosystem. I think it's also exciting to be able to see what they could do with it. Honestly, it's been going on for some time. I mean, this is almost like at the same level as Project Aria, where it was there. We saw hardware, we saw some early development. I mean, we saw some even. I think there was a few videos showing home screens and launcher and customization options in there, but it just kind of went quiet for so long. And again, it's exciting that it's coming around. I don't know if it's going to have that much of a big impact on the existing market of the way we do things. Speaking of alternative OSs, I think I saw somewhere where there was an article talking about Harmony OS is going to be launching on a tablet. I don't know if it's confirmed. This is based on an article that I was reading late at night, right before I went to sleep on my phone. Harmony OS running on a tablet, running around launching around the same time as the P50. Yes, the P50, because I think it was like the P40 is already out. So I think it's good. We'll have to see if there's any actual takes from developers and any actual progress made. The openness is nice. The ability to have it that open source. I hope that it stays open source, that it doesn't actually become closed source later on. So just hopefully we'll, kind of like the way we have with Android right now and how the experience is. AOSP is truly the open source part of it, but AOSP doesn't come with Google Play services. AOSP doesn't come with Google, optimizations with security services and all of those things. So we'll have to see how that goes. What about Beard and Jack as the show name? We'll have to, actually, if Juan is in the chat, I'm gonna have to think him across the USA with Juan and TK. It actually definitely has a nice little ring to it too. Yes, I remember that one. Yeah, so Ronaldo. Got it. Ronaldo. You're right. They did actually have a nice little interview between CarPlay and MKBHD talking about the Nord, which surprisingly, if we really kind of want to talk about it, it's the end of 2020. We don't have Nords in the US. There was a lot of rumors talking about Nords coming in here. I had a chance to play with the original Nord, the N10, and obviously there's the N100. But for the most part, these seem to be more focused on the European and Asian markets. So we haven't really seen a lot of development there. But I'm excited to see more of what is, what we can see from Nord. Nord as a line from OnePlus is basically taking over their budget side of devices. So we're looking obviously into powerful devices, low budget pricing, and of course very competitive pricing, not just low budget. The N10 that I had a chance to play with, it was actually pretty decent, for about a couple of $100. It's not like a lot of money. The first version Nord that came out, that really nice green one, the nice little green, I was going to say pastel green color. It was definitely very, very nice. I liked that one. It was one of the more powerful options. And I was hoping at this point, by this time of the year, we would probably see the having a version of it for the US. And what I mean by that, I mean supporting US bands, which is one of the things I'm really excited about the 888 is that natively the chip itself supports all the different bands for 5G, sub-6, mid-band, low-band, sub-600 type of 5G, even millimeter wave type 5G. So in theory, there is no need for different chips to actually be able to support, European or US chipset. Although, as it is typical fashion, I would imagine the OEM has the ability of picking what bands this chip can support, even though this chip natively supports everything. They don't have to actually subscribe or buy all of them. And with that being said, I will take a drink. Liquid libation. But yes, Joe's coming with the TK with Juan show, the TK with Juan great show. I like it. I like I hope we end up turning it into a variety show. That would be a fun thing because can't really do a lot of tips and tricks. No, just kidding. Sam's jumping in there with what do you think? And actually, I'd love to open this up to you guys as well. What are you guys' thoughts on the design with the new S21? I'm not gonna lie, I'm more excited about the design on the S21 than I was about the design on the S20. Mostly because I went with the Ultra. So the Ultra obviously had the biggest camera bump on the back. The design was pretty much squared. Like there's a lot of squares going on. There's the square around the camera, the square around the actual device, as it typical is. What I'm looking forward to is if the rumors and everything that we're hearing right now are true, the S21 or the S21 line of devices will have pen input support, but it's not going to support a pen that is built into the phone. So the phone won't have a pen housing. It's actually going to end up being as part of a case. So the case will have a pen housing mechanism for it. And then the case itself will be basically how you're able to get the pen with you all the time. So it's a special case for the S21. I almost want to say they took a page of LG where they basically given you the accessory as part of a case. But again, short answer is if that is true with the new design, I think Samsung has something going on. I don't know if a lot of people are going to be going in and saying, look, I need the pen on my S20 series. I think Note users are definitely going to be Note users, but S21 or the beginning of 2021 is supposed to be basically a new era of design. So we saw some talks, obviously Juan talked about this as well, about the end of the Note line. We also saw the conversations about basically bringing pen input to everything. So meaning what makes the Note special if the S series has the pen? And if that is true, then we'll have to see what do they do at the end of the year. What is that next series of devices that comes out? Because once you give the pen to the S20 line, or the S line, it's hard to kind of justify the Note line's existence anymore. Because take the pen out of the Note, it used to mean that the Note used to be, was the most powerful device of the year that it comes out in, right? So we get the better chipset, we get more RAM, we got larger batteries, we get a bigger phone, all of the things that you anticipated out of the S line, but better on the Note. Well, 2020 kind of proved us a little bit different this year, right? The Note 20 Ultra and the S20 Ultra had some interesting compromises on both ends. I still think the S20 Ultra is a better phone than the Note 20 Ultra, in my opinion. And that's mostly driven by the usability of both of them. I've used both devices and I have to say that it doesn't sound like it's a lot, but having that extra 500 milliampere battery, having the 45-watt charging speed on the S20 Ultra made the experience on the S20 Ultra so much better. When I went from the S20 Ultra to the Note 20 Ultra, I felt different. It didn't work the same. The battery didn't last as long. It's the same chipset. I mean, we went with the Plus over the standard, so but that's slightly different there. Slightly overclocked, but it's an 865. That 500 milliampere battery is definitely gone. We got the pen, but we lost battery and battery speed, maxing out at 25 watts. So again, some compromises were done between the two, but it was no longer that big difference of where the Note was the Note and the S was the S. It was more of the, we took away 500 milliampere to put in a pen. That's just short way, at least how I saw it. And they added the laser autofocusing system, which was trying to put it in. But in short, I'm excited to see how the S line is. I'm more than likely going to be picking up the best version that they have. I still have my S20 Ultra, and I'll be basically trading it into that. So that's usually what I end up doing with the S lines. The Note 20, if you guys didn't get a chance to catch the challenge that Juan Carlos and I did with the Duo and the Note 20 Ultra. The Note 20 Ultra is now my wife's main device. So that one stays with her, and I get a chance to switch over to see what the new S line of devices do. Here, why OnePlus did not launch the OnePlus 8T Pro? Should we be able to see it? So Sakmat is asking on what happened to the 8T, the T series of the device, the 8T Pro. I think what happened is at the end of the year, OnePlus is still trying to figure out the experience of what they want to offer. What they chose to do in 2021 is release 3 devices, not 4, which is what they typically do, right? So in 2019, we had the 7 Pro, the 7T, and then the 7T Pro, and then there was the 7T Pro McLaren edition. So there's a whole bunch of just devices already. This year they did it, and I feel like it's the right move for them. They chose to go at the end of the year, as opposed to going in with the T and 8T and an 8T Pro, being that the 8T would be the successor of the 8, and the 8T Pro would be obviously the successor of the 8 Pro. They actually released a phone that fell right between the 8 and the 8 Pro. I don't think it's a successor. I honestly, to any of the phones of 2020, it's a successor to what we probably saw last year with the 7T. It's a phone that fits right in between. It has really fast charging at 65 watt, which more than likely we're going to be seeing in the 9 Pro. So that's a big teaser right there. They definitely have obviously a high refresh rate. So they kept the high refresh rate. They have a flat display as opposed to a curved display. So they did some different combination, which is why I say it's not a successor, And that's probably why we didn't see the 7T Pro, is because they really weren't trying to do that anymore. They figured, we'll give you three devices that give you a slightly different experience between each one. The 8 and the 8 Pro are intentionally made to be a smaller version of the big guy, kind of the experience. But the 8T is really meant to be more of a gaming focus, seriously gaming focused and fast charging focused technology. So I don't really miss the 8T Pro. I was a little bit initially, taken by the fact that we didn't see it. Were they going to do a separate event as they typically do these things? Let me see here. We're getting comment. Oh, I got a package. I got a package left on my door. Whew, what could it be? Okay. I don't know. Should I go check it? Hold on, let me see. Let's see if this is if I have an idea. Let me see here. I can see the camera, and I would love to not have to go away, but I feel like it may be, if it's something, if it looks like it's a massive piece, I will definitely take a small I don't know. You know what? Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay. we'll do this in post. No, just kidding. Oh, I jumped. I think I missed a comment here talking, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I'm back by the way, guys. Sorry for the little hiccup there. Oh man, I missed a lot of comments. Okay. Oh, here. So MKBHD has always had the long-standing relationship with OnePlus since the 3T promo with Eon's back. I totally agree with you there. So the package is, this is actually from Team Pixel. Oh, nice. Okay. I think I know what it says. So just to kind of read it off to you guys, thank you for the Pixel love. So here are 3 exclusive Pixel prints. We can't wait to see what you think of them. Show off your prints with the gift from Google. Sincerely. Okay, so hold on. I got to show this to you guys. Let's switch over to the overhead cam. They have a nice little Google paperclip. It's really like a really nice little Google paperclip. Very nice. So let's go ahead and put this phone away. So I actually walked out just to kind of see it. So here is the letter, so you guys can see it right there. Here you go, 3 exclusive Pixel prints, and we'd love to see what you think. I'll definitely be checking those out. So let's do. Let me open it up here. I think I know which ones they are, but I want to make sure there's no sensitive information on it. Sorry, guys. 1 second. And okay, so here we are. We're good. We are good. So let's take this guy out. So here, we're going to look at them together, and let's go ahead and open it up. So first print is, if I'm not mistaken, this is a disassembled Pixel. So this is going to be the Pixel 4a, as you can see, the big one. It could be the 4a or the 5. I'm not sure, because the camera setup is the same. There's the dual cameras in the back, and of course in the front we have the top front side. I can't tell if it's the 5 or, okay, so this is definitely either the 4a or the 5, but definitely more of a disassembled side. And then here you could see even a bigger view of how it looks like the different camera assembly here. So this is just the sensor sitting in the back, the glass pieces, the 2 sensors in the back, the charging port. I'm assuming this is either the speaker side, the battery, of course, different ribbons all around the actual display, the SIM tray that's sitting right there, and we're able to obviously see it and enjoy it. Really nice. Of course, all the different, the motherboard and the daughter board set up there. And then here is another one. This one looks more, if I'm not mistaken, this is the 4A, because that one is a single camera in the back. And we get the different button accents, the screws, again, more, and how many pieces go into what you get on a Pixel, which is really, 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 really nice. I do want to say, thank you very much to Google for the nice little surprise. I saw this online yesterday, and I wasn't sure if there would be one in my way. And believe it or not, as it typically, this isn't the first time. I always end up getting a nice little kind of gift from Google in the middle of the show. So with that being said, thank you very much to the Team Pixel, of course, and of course a gift from Google team there for the nice little surprise. And I hope you guys enjoyed looking at it or sharing this box with me or this package with me that showed up. I didn't, again, it's one of those things I didn't realize was coming, and it was really a very nice surprise. And I love them. I actually love the little designs, the disassembled. It's basically like the decomposed version, the deconstructed, not decomposed, the deconstructed version of our favorite Pixels. I did a video actually earlier this week talking about your basically the best way to pick a pixel, which pixel is the right pixel for depending on which one you're looking for. And I covered the Pixel 4, the Pixel 4, the Pixel 4a, the Pixel 4a, the 4a 5G, and then the Pixel 5. And it's one of those things that you have to truly appreciate what they offered, and really the consistency in the experience across devices. So that's one of the things I really appreciated. It's always one of those really nice ones. So Ronaldo is saying, the problem that OnePlus faces in the US is the competition with budget phones, the Pixel, Samsung A7s, A71s, etc. And that's true. In the US, there's a lot more competitions going on right now, at least in this market. Although, to kind of maybe balance out the comment there on that one with Ronaldo is, if we look at it from both sides, in Europe, there's a lot more competition going on in that mid-range. I mean, Xiaomi's in the gameplay there, which they're not playing here. Officially, basically. So I feel like there's a lot more options in the UK or in Europe, and that's where this device is going in with competition. It's going into India, which also has a lot more, with the Xiaomi, the Realmes, and the other devices that are generally even more affordable. And those are the things that I always wondered going on with that system. Ronaldo, sure, Team Pixel, Mr. Pixel. Yes. So Joe, I don't know, Joe, if you got one too, or if it's probably in the mail. I don't know, but it's definitely from Team Pixel. So really, really excited. Very, very, very happy. Was very excited to get that earlier today. I'd like the hidden selfie cam. So speaking of which, I want to say the Axon 20, if I may be wrong on the name, but so there's an Axon coming up with their first in-display or beneath the display camera. Now, we saw this from Xiaomi. This isn't new tech, but it's actually the first phone to launch with this. And I'm hoping to be able to get my hands on one of them. I reached out and we'll see what they say. We'll have to see if they actually are able to send me a unit to be able to check out. But I'm excited to see a new development from Axon. And of course, the Axon 20 would definitely be really, really cool. Scott's jumping in. Really cool. It definitely looks really nice. I love them. The design is simple and it's unique in the sense of what it offers. But just, again, that little view of the decomposed, the disassembled, let's go ahead and put that in front of you guys. The disassembled Pixel 5 or the Pixel 4a 5G. And again, it's hard to tell. I want to say this is a Pixel 5. I can't tell, but it's hard because, actually, I take that back. I think the Pixel 5 is in green, in sage primarily. So this has to be the Pixel 4a. So this has to be there, yes. Aditya's in the comments. Man, Sabaho, man, welcome back. Welcome back, man. Hope you're doing well. They need to flatten those screens. It's hard. It's hard. The design, it's hard basically to pick one side over the other, right? Some people like curved displays and some people like flat displays. For gaming experience, for basically the best experience that you can get with the best experience, like for just overall getting a glass protector, cases, and so on, all those things that you generally want to do with the device. I feel like flat displays do much better. There's really not much is being done yet, unless you're going with like the Xiaomi. I want to say the Mi 10 Ultra that had the more of a the circular display where you actually have the display that goes on the other side of the actual device. Then it becomes a little bit more functional if you're able to add function to it. But waterfall displays are nice to look at, but ghost touching could also drive some people crazy. So those are one things. Keep that in mind when you're looking at devices like that. Oh yeah, man. Hopefully you're doing well with homework and with school, Aditya. I know it's been as the year comes to an end. There's typically a lot more tests and so on going at the end of the year. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention, last week I mentioned to you guys the winner of the watch, and he did get in touch with me on Sunday. And I want to say thank you very much to Mobvoy for it's already shipped. It's on its way to him. So it's going to be exciting to hear us see what he thinks of the watch. So he did get a chance to win, and he actually is very happy he's getting it soon. Hopefully we'll see how that goes. But Aditya, I hope you're doing well. I hope school's going great. It's hard with the way things are going right now, but definitely you got to focus on what's important, and I think this is a really good one. And let me know what you think of the new LG. Are things are still working as good as they were, or as you mentioned to us last week? Devin, good day, mate. I'm doing good. What about you, man? Good. Let me see here. I'm thinking there's a couple of comments here. Aditya is going back. I think answers here more. Another live unboxing. I know. No, it's one of those weird things, right? I didn't think the package was going to show up. I didn't so they didn't say anything, right? I saw it on somebody's on somebody's Twitter, I want to say, and you never know. Sometimes some people do, depending on whomever will get the piece or so on. But yes, another live unboxing. This is the way we do it. If it shows up during the live stream on Saturday, it gets unboxed on the live stream. And that's one of the reasons why I like, and that's just like, hey, you got a package. It wasn't just a notification. It specifically knew there was something left. So it was nice. So thank you very much to Team Pixel. Always. Matt Tyler, I'm an Obi-Wan Kenobi nerd. I'm so hyped for the new Disney Plus series coming next year. Yes, that was so. The Disney stuff with the Star Wars coming up. I know WandaVision comes up. I think in the beginning of January or so on. The announcement from Warner Brothers that all of their movies are going to be coming up to HBO Max on the same day as they're being launched is super exciting. And I really can't wait to see how things go with all the movies and all things coming up next year. Definitely. Yes, definitely. More. I gotta have the coffee just to kind of keep it going, and of course hydration. Yes, that mic is great. It's a great deal. The setup around $350, and it sounds very similar to a $61 kit. Definitely can't compare. The built sound quality is very nice. I think they're talking about certain things between the two. Matt's jumping in there. I'm not an Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because I ain't paying Disney that much money. Yeah, no, I hear you. Okay, let's see. Next one. Oh, Sean Pfeiffer. Thank you very much for the super sticker, man. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good weekend, and always appreciate it. Always appreciate the support, man. Thank you very much. So Lucifer's M is talking about the series discontinuing the series of the Note. So the short version of that is, if the pen is no longer unique to the Note, meaning S-line devices can get pen input, you lose that uniqueness of what the Note stands for. So there's no point to call a Note if the S series gets a pen, if the Note series gets a pen, in whatever other series that they're releasing with will support a pen input. In theory, it basically makes it so that they should just basically make the pen as an accessory to all of their devices, no longer making a specific phone to it. Now, does that mean that they're going to be releasing a second device at the end of the year with more better specs, but just called like another version of it, like the way they did with the S20s? Because you saw beginning of the year, we have the S20, the S20 Ultra, and the S20 Plus. Then at the end of the year, they did the S20 FE, which was, in my mind, I feel like the right price for the S20 series. It still ran mostly the S20, hardware, but much cheaper. So the goal would be maybe for Samsung to focus more on the Z Flip or the Z Flip, So basically the Z Flip or the Fold, as well as the S series, and of course just expanding on those devices. The mid-rangers, the A series, I think are still not going to be that much impacted by this. But again, once you give the S series, and if the rumors of that extra case with the pen input for the S21 is true, it's hard to justify somebody saying, I want to go for a pen that's built into it. Because at that point, you're justifying paying more money for something that you could just get as an accessory if you want. Because remember, the S21 won't come with the pen. It's an accessory that you need to buy to make it work with the pen. So you either buy the pen by itself or the case that comes with a pen, and those things become more of an accessory, and it's more of a choice. I feel like LG did a great job in 2020 to give us a choice of saying, look, the V60 is a great phone by itself at $799. You want to get it with the case, then it goes up to $899. You want to get it with a case and a pen, $840 because it's like $40 for the pen. But that's the customization level that you got. You don't have to get the whole package. You can just get it customized. But again, once you provide that choice, there really is no there's it's hard to justify the existence of the note. But in a sense, it's also kind of almost making everything a note, if that makes sense. So the S line becomes a more pseudo note. My hope though is now the pen, that whatever pen input they end up using, gets power through NFC. So the same way we've seen the power consumption or the power share over NFC to cases in the past with Samsung devices like the LED case and so on, we see that come in, and also they use that to be able to power the pen. So the pen stays powered as long as it's in the case. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I'm excited to see how the approach that they decide to do there. Sorry about that. We should all get together and play Warzone. Absolutely, dude. So Matt said that around the 16th, we should be able to see the new series. So that would be, what is that? The Wednesday, I think. That's Wednesday next week, right? The right before Juan and I do our first show together. So yeah, definitely, we'll have to plan it out. There's a lot of cool games coming up this year, so I'm really excited about all the gaming experiences and what we are able to do. Today, I still have to say, PC gaming. Okay, so we're back. We're back. We had another circle of death coming, kind of thing. Definitely very nice here. My tech reviews. I was taken aback when you mentioned the price of $61 for what a super cool thing. Okay, I think they're still talking about the microphones between the two of them. Is this the part where you show where we talk about these lifestyle items? Oh, let's talk about the AirPod Max. I think we want to. I think Andrew Wallace kind of started at the beginning, and I didn't get a chance to conclude that part or go through it. Dude. Matt, don't worry about it, dude. Everything is going good. Let's talk a little bit about the AirPod Max. So first things first, I think I mentioned at the beginning, I did put in an order for a pair. I want to see how they perform. I want to see how they compare, namely how they compare at least to my Sonys, because Sonys to me are basically the standard of what I look at. I'm also in the process of trying to reach out a few companies to see if I can get some of their headphones as well. I think from a comparison standpoint, Apple users have come to expect the best experience possible from Apple on anything they release. There's definitely a thing to be said as far as simplicity of connectivity, access, connection. What I really appreciated about the AirPods Pro back when I was playing with them originally as my main headphones, was the fact that the hardware enabled the function. So basically, ANC didn't need to actually be connected to an iPhone for it to work. So you could turn on ANC, turn it off, turn on basically pass-through mode, or you go with active noise cancellation. The Max will obviously have 9 microphones, so they're supposed to have even better. They're supposed with the H1 chip. Again, a lot of fancy words for saying is essentially it's going to be processing a lot of its own things independently between each ear cup. The design is definitely high end. They're metal design. It's cold to the touch from what we've seen with with I think Supersaf's video. And what I wanted to see basically is, do they justify the price? I think the price is a little bit high for what they're promising. Not to say that what they're promising isn't high end. It's just that from what we've seen on paper, and if you notice a lot of the videos that we've seen already from different releases, not sure if these units were sent to them from Apple, or are these actually things that they were able to buy. But the short answer is none of them are doing a full review. They want to spend some time with it, so which is true, and I think a lot of people should. But I wanted to see the experience on my end to see how do they sound. Do they stack up to what Apple is releasing? Do they work well only with iPhones, or do they work well with Android devices as well, or PCs and so on? Because that's really the lifestyle that you want to keep in mind. People like to buy headphones. I mean, I have an iPhone, I have an iPad, I have a MacBook. I don't use them all the time as my primary devices, but they're devices that I have. And again, this could be the augmenting experience that we're missing. But I think Andrew said it at the beginning. He's going to go with the Sennheiser headphones. And it's one of those things we'll have to basically see how things go with that on that end. I'm down for that, even if I am. Okay, I think I may have missed the conversation between Joe and Greg going on. Uh, where there, Lucifer was using a pu- in Hindi. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, and in his message prior to that, yeah, I think I saw something in there and I couldn't understand what it was, and that's why I left it and I didn't mention it there as well. Let me see else out there. Apple AirPod. See, okay, so Greg sees it as a brassiere or as a bra. I saw it more of a purse. Like when I swear, like I think what I should do for the video as an intro, just show myself actually as I'm doing the introduction talking to you guys, which just show the unboxing of the actual case. And as soon as I'm done, right before the intro is about to transition over to the little splash screen that I have coming up, I hold the purse and I walk out. That's this is going to be like the purse for exactly. No, it's one of those things. The design is so let's talk about that case. Actually, I want to talk about the case. I think the case is the most craziest part of this entire design. It makes no sense, absolutely, in the sense of what they've designed there. The only function that I see the case providing is by the use of magnets telling the headphones to turn off. Because according to the existing, at least from the few videos that we've seen, you don't have a way of turning them off, which I find to be very, very disheartening because if you're claiming this much battery life, you should have the ability of using them and be able to turn them off. If we can't turn off our own headphones, at some point it becomes non-functional because even the case itself puts them in a low power state. It doesn't actually turn them off so that when you take them out of the case, they automatically turn back on. It's kind of like the hibernation type of a function. To put that on the side, though, the only other thing that this case functions is actually, that's the only thing that it functions. It doesn't really do anything else. It doesn't protect the actual casing, and maybe it helps so that the ear cups don't fall off because they're magnetically connected. But at the end of the day, it doesn't protect the unit. There's ports everywhere. The top part of it exposed. A bottom part is exposed. The mesh fabric, I would say, the weakest part, construction side from this actual entire design with the aluminum, casing and all of that stuff. It's a mesh the mesh overhead experience is great from maybe a user experience because they'll feel really nice and really soft. But over time, if you're giving us a case that doesn't protect it, can you imagine putting that in your backpack or somewhere and you're walking around and then somehow one of your pens goes through that thing? There's no replacement to that thing. That's your AirPods. That's your whole experience there. So I feel like the carrying case of anything should have protected that part of the casing, not the aluminum part that is more than likely not going to get dented unless you really go at it with it. So there's that part going in for it. And of course, the design just kind of goes out the door. It's almost like when it was designed, it was either never shown combined as a unit. So meaning they said, this is the design for the Apple AirPod Max case, and this is the Apple AirPod Max. Okay, they look great. Go ahead, send them to production. We'll do it and we'll look at it later. And then later, after everything was produced and everything was sent, and the machine puts them all together, it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is what it looks like. Oh, okay. So that's where you're getting it. So if you haven't seen it, and of course, I'm saying this with in all honesty, more of a joking matter. I do find it to be a little bit off that this was not looked at and somebody noticed it at Apple before releasing it. Like, it looked like a purse, or it looks like a bra. It looks like many different things. But jokes aside, realistically, I don't think a lot of people are going to have any problems with it. I feel like this feeds right into the Apple ecosystem. If you're in it and you love it, I think this is definitely going to feed into what you're looking in there. IR 1980 is Apple, the premium brand, masquerading as a luxury brand, Louis Vuitton-esque. There's a good chance that they tried to take a big page from the Louis Vuitton side. The first thing I want to mention is obviously Apple owns Beats. So this is not by any means the first, I would say, over-ear experience headphones that Apple as a company has released under the label of its own. It says, it is the first that's released under Apple's name. It's owned other basically companies like Beats where they've been releasing things like this before. So the short answer is this is their first intro to it. And there's going to be a lot. This is a very high bar that they're going to be setting. So that's the goal. If they miss the bar, then they're basically, I would say, setting it very simply, almost like an easy step for everybody else to jump over, kind of a thing. But at the end of the day, we want something that makes sense for people to want to buy with that obviously $1,200 to $1,300 experience. So it's almost like Apple right now. If you're looking at buying the 12 Pro Max with the AirPod Max plus the charger plus the cable, and I'm talking about the 3.5 to Lightning cable because it doesn't come in the box. You're getting pretty close up there, because $1,200, I think, if I'm not mistaken, plus $550 is $1,750. Add tax to that, plus that $35 cable and the $35 charger. You're close to a $2,000 experience just if you want to get the best of what Apple has to offer. That's a high life. That's a high price, regardless of where we're going there. Um, new for Twitch 2020 is cool. I'm still with my G7. The G7 is definitely very, very nice. I stand by my previous comment. I like it, Matt. So Aditya is jumping in. So I think it's a poor design. Leaves the headband. Leaves the headband and part of the sound embedding part exposed. It's a fashion accessory, carry case, and not a protective case. Absolutely. And the sad part about it is that's the thing that's included in the case, which again could probably mean they're opening it up to third-party accessories, which could also mean that we're probably going to get better accessories for it. But again, it depends on if this is something that's even on your radar. So the short answer of this is Apple's first over-the-ear experience. They look comfortable. We've heard many people say that they are. They look basically promising, but I don't know. Till I get them in the hand, hopefully we'll have to see. I have both Juan Carlos and Joshua Vergara, both, like, the moment I told them I'm getting it, they literally broke into to laugh. And I realized I think it's more of, I wanted to try it. I really wanted to see how it was. That's really one of my things. I wanted to see what it was. So we'll have to see how it goes there. Matt, how long until Spigen makes a protective case that takes advantage of the magnet so it can switch to low power mode? Absolutely. I would imagine them releasing it on day one. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen many accessories, because for the short future that obviously, before people start seeing things, I know, Apple releases things, but they tend to release the licensing to it. Just for reference, these are the headphones that a lot of people thought were going to be called the Apple, I think they're called the Apple AirPods Studios. Now that we know that they're actually called the AirPod Max, so we'll have to see how they go in there. I'm with you, Greg. So it's a hard sell. The case itself is a hard sell. I feel like a lot of people are going to buy it and they're just going to keep the case in the box and just never touch it, because the reality of the matter is you wouldn't want to be caught with that. And I make a joke of it, but we need better cases. And of course, Spigen will always have to jump into it. Aditya is coming back with the you can buy a you can buy a whole bunch of and then some of focal audiophile headphones for around $900 and an LG V60 for $800 and still have money left over in comparison to buying the 12 Pro Max and the AirPod Max. Absolutely, dude. The preposterousness of that we're seeing here, which I'm really worried about, is this is opening a door for other manufacturers to basically say, oh, Apple can sell their headphones for $550. I should be able to sell mine for $550 too. And it just starts the trend, right? Everybody just starts going in there, and we're going to start seeing $500 headphones that are, for the most part, not offering that much more than what a $200 to $300 pair of headphones, which I still think the Sony MX4s are by far one of the best options in 2020. Super long battery life, great audio, some nice improvements over the MX3s. And of course, if you've used Sony's before, you know about the 360 spatial audio, their improvements, their integration with Tidal for 360 audio. There's a lot of things to be said for half the price of what that is. So I'm not expecting to be super excited, but I'm hoping for the best, anticipating the worst. Let's just say that. It does actually. I know you. I know what you meant. I just did not want to. It's not a word I usually say all the time. That's the only reason. So when I saw it, I assumed it was a Danish scheisse. If I'm not saying that correctly, I think that's the translation of it in German, scheisse. So I that's what I assumed you were trying to write it in German. But yeah. So jumping back into with Joe here. Greg is going to jump in. Going to say like, I'm going to stick with my $20 Toshiba over the ear headphones. The reality is, yeah, we're splitting hairs at the Apple level of what the Max can do. Can the AirPod Max really provide that much more? The reality is not true. Now, I mean, there's so many more options available that are at a much cheaper price. I'm talking much cheaper, meaning about like $200 to $300 cheaper. I'm not talking about like $20 or $30. Something in the $300 to $350 range from Microsoft, um, from Sony, from different companies. I mean, heck, even Huawei released studio headphones. I saw a few posts from some of the other YouTubers. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Tim Schofield got one of those as well. So, short answer is there's a lot of options, and Apple is truly like they're not truly providing a big incentive into basically saying people should go for it. Although, here's the thing, even though it's 550, you try to go buy them now from Apple and you have to wait till April to pick up a pair. Best Buy, which was the actual, I did put in my order with Best Buy and it's no longer available for next week's shipping. Now is like predicting to be shipping in somewhere in the middle of January to February. So it doesn't seem like the 550 is causing people to have any heartache. And it is what it is. People are it's either that they're being scalped, which is something that could potentially happen, which means a whole bunch of companies bought them and then they're not going to be reselling them on Amazon later on as a resale because there's nobody can get them for Christmas. But we'll have to see. Those are definitely things that I'm not worried on too much. I was lucky enough to be able to get it. I looked at the shopping cart on Apple a couple of times and I closed it for a day, and then I decided to pick them up the next day. And again, Best Buy came through for me at this point. Um, but that's what I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit as well. The question is this: would you, if you had the 500, $550 or so on, would you go for the Xbox Series X at 500? And we're talking about the Series X disc model, not the Series S. The S obviously is that's a $399. That's $100 less. Would you go for the Xbox Series X at 500? Would you go for the PlayStation at 500, the disc edition, PlayStation 5 at 500, or would you go for the brand new AirPod Max? There's no. I don't even think people would even consider the AirPod. I mean, I just don't know why they would price their headphones the same price as a next gen console. That just doesn't make sense. It's a $550, $600 experience. And Joe has that right there. He nailed it right on the dot. I talked about this on the podcast a couple of days ago with Joshua, which hopefully you guys will see soon. It's something very interesting. It's like weird that they would even price it there. But again, it's sold. If there's a demand, it's hard. It's hard for a company to understand what they're doing. It may not necessarily fit correctly or work correctly when the demand is still there. So we'll have to see what people say. Unbox Mania, I am with you. The Sony 1000 MX4s are by far the best. I feel like they're the best of 2020, from my experience. Not to say that there are going to be other headsets that are a little bit more expensive or maybe provide a few other options, but I feel like the Sonys are definitely one of the better ones available on the market. Matt's like AirPod Max for the win. I don't know. We'll have to say. I'm definitely not gaming style or gaming grade headphones. So for me, my basically my Logitech headphones are going to be my biggest thing. So for me, gaming is very specific. You don't mess with that. But we'll have to see. I wonder if the purse can take the expensive Apple wheels. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, weren't they like $100 a piece? The aluminumized whatever the wheels for the base of the. I don't know, man. Apple and their designs, like the stand was $1,000. I'm like, why does that even make sense? I mean, seriously, a thing that only does one thing that is, I agree, super machine, super detailed, and all of that, but it's one of those becoming type of devices that I don't know. My XM3s and my gaming Sennheisers are all I need. Piece, yes, Sony for sure. The XM3s, and I think the Sony this year. I was sad to see that Sony was not giving out the XM4s with the Xperias this year, but that it was still an option. I think in Europe they did have some casing available there. Details with my concern is whether Okay, we're back. But Aditya's comment, I think, is very, very valid. It's basically saying it's using the 550 price tag as as an indicator, saying it's okay to go that expensive. It's one of those things that they did with the smartphone series. They went over $1,000, and now literally almost every company is releasing is hitting that $1,000 plus side. I can't say that it's worth it for the money, but consumer grade, no 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, bearing headphone jacks. Headphone jack is a bit too much when audiophiles options like the THX Panda, non-ANC, or other consumer grade XM4s like the XM4s, exactly Sony's, are more comfortable to the AirPod Max and even exist already. So yeah, no, battery life is definitely longer on the XM4s, longer than the AirPod Max, at least the advertised battery life. It's one of those things that I always appreciated about what we got from different companies, the competition, right? But you're right. Aditya has a very, very good point, which I think if we look at it, it's the precedence that's going in here. They're setting the bar higher now. Apple now saying, look, it's okay to go 550. Still going with Coco. And what we're seeing essentially is we're seeing more and more people are buying it. So Apple's initial impression is like, well, this is a good thing. It's a sale. It's a win. We're going to keeping it there. We're not going to try to see if the market really responds very, very badly on it. So the short answer is, it's something that we need to basically decide with our wallets, and unfortunately, it seems like Apple is probably not going to get it. And I realize my position in this conversation, because in a certain way, I'm saying that statement, but I'm also saying at the same time that I'm actually picking a pair up. I'm picking it up purely because I want to see the comparison. I'd love to be able to share that with you guys. It's something that I'm intrigued mostly on the performance that this pair of headphones is trying to offer, not necessarily that I was looking to buy them as my primary driver pair of headphones. I still believe in my Sonys, and I'm hoping to be surprised with what Apple is offering with their devices. Again, it's the level of control of what you can do with the audio. Can you tune it? Can you experience it really well? And how does it work with anything that is not Apple? Because there are other people out there that buy Apple accessories, and believe me, they don't use them with Apple phones. So they use them with other devices, even PCs and so on. Oh man. Wait, right there. So it says, Aditya, I think that's the bully side of Apple's position as the market leader. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. I agree. It's they lead the market, and they push the market up. And at the end of the day, what ends up happening is sales will start compromising. Samsung felt that this year with the Note. The Note 20 line of devices did not sell as much as what previous years of Note line of devices. Now, keep in mind, yes, that the timing of the Note came in the middle of the pandemic. It's not the same as when the S line of devices came out at the beginning of the year, because at the beginning of the year, people were still able to go out and buy things. I mean, the full effect of what we are in the current situation wasn't there at the beginning of when the S20 line of devices were being sold. A lot more people were spending money on the S20s. The Note came in the middle of it, and realistically, the Note 20 dropped $200 a week after it was released. That is just course correction galore. And of course, obviously, we have to see more and more things coming up from there. Matt's jumping in. TK, come on, Warzone, using the AirPod Max. I'm kicking him from the squad. Oh my God. Okay, so you guys heard it there. I'm almost 100% sure that they are not even close. The latency factor on these things are going to be just crazy bad when it comes to gaming. Can you imagine going into Warzone and I'm like just off on the key of when things are happening? I'm just getting shot the whole time. No. Good headphones in Warzone are as important as a good mouse and keyboard. Let's just say that. It's one of those things you have to appreciate. And Greg is on Twitch. See, that's one thing Twitch has that I think YouTube doesn't have as much as the icon selection, which is really, really nice. I think it said a lot about Samsung making the Samsung S20 FE. I've realized that's, I think, the biggest cause of why that device exists. The FE line originally was purely a way for them to sell the last Note 7 devices that they couldn't sell because they recalled a gazillion of them and they had to fix them. And then, of course, they capped the battery capacity on them and they just basically resold them as Note 7 to FE. And the S20 FE offered us a good example of what Samsung should be pricing their Note 20, the S20 line of devices. Short answer, that device with the features that it offered was very comparable to the S20, which was close to $1,000, and I feel like it did a much better job, basically being available at that price point. And it's fast. It ran the latest version of One UI, gave you all the features. The biggest compromise that I felt that they went with is the material that they decided to go with, which is where they made some of their compromises. It had a lot more to see what they did with the Note 20 line, which they went with the material on the back. But that's something that we're also kind of, we really shouldn't accept a device that they're asking for at $1,000 plus and then sell it to you with materials that you typically can expect from a mid-range device. I don't mind it at a $600 maybe or a $500 device, but when you go to $1,000, that material should not be there. That's one of the problems with the Note 20, for sure. Sorry, IR. AirPods SE 2021. I'm calling it now. Okay, Matt Tyler got it. IR is in there as the only factor that can stop Apple from getting away with this type of pricing is the consumer. Exactly, it's the judging with your own wallet. If you don't buy the product and it is selling at that much, believe me, Apple will not re-releasing the sequel to it or even keep it at that price point. Apple exists in the marketing, and consumers' behavior are in the taking full advantage of it. And I feel like it's seriously more of the it's that design. It almost like it fits into that whole ecosystem. It's a lifestyle. And I understand that Apple releases many things that do fit their own design, but I realize at the end of the day, their pricing and their availability of things just sometimes it begs the question is, do they really anticipate there are going to be that much demand, or do they know it's going to be that much? When they're releasing a device, or is it truly a gamble? Because the reality is they didn't announce it. They didn't make a show about it. It just happened. It became available. And of course, a few YouTubers got access to those, so we got a chance to see some hands-on. But at the end of the day, realistically, there's a good chance that a lot of people are not going to know what they are till they go into the Apple store and see what's happening. I'm sure there's going to be some news buzz and stuff like that. But $550 right before Christmas, and they're sold out all the way till next year. It's also, if anything else, it's not really a good experience, a good timing for Apple. It's almost like they wanted to throw something in the middle of December just to have it. I think this should have been released earlier, and even if they wanted to release them and have a better experience, the price, honestly, for what I've seen now, $300 would be the max. I feel like would be a comfortable price for what Apple is offering. But again, as a first release, if nothing else. Mic quality should be good, though. One thing I have to admit about the AirPods is that the mics on them are always very good. They do have the gold standard of microphones when I've done microphone tests in the past. That's one thing they do. They feel really good. Even with the original AirPods, those are one thing that I always appreciated about them. Recommended them, the Gen 2 non-pros. My dad, who primarily uses them for phone calls. Definitely. No. That's something I feel like Android's been struggling in, even with the microphone setup options that we've seen in different times. So we'll have to see how they sound. And I definitely will be looking forward to checking them out. Again, hopefully next week, if they do ship out when they said they were supposed to be. They'll be around 400 pounds. Yeah. So Matt's projecting about a 400 pound price tag on that one. Or 450. Definitely. They might look they might look like underwater next time. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see what else we have here. Dude, yes. Aditya, definitely. Thank you. Aditya reminds me always. The time always flies with this one. So, guys, if you don't mind, do me a favor in the comments, and we're going to start it off with Aditya since he hit us up with this. It's that time again during the show for the TKception. We're going to go ahead and kick it off, and I'm just going to give it a few more seconds, a few more people to throw that in there. But yeah, I mean, realistically, there's a lot of things to be said about AirPod Max, but price is the crazy part about it. It's truly to the max. The price is to the max. Let's go ahead and do screen sharing, and we're going to kick it off. And what? Yeah. I always have to time it correctly to kind of do the handshaking. So with that said, I always want to say thank you very much to Aditya, as usual, jumping in and keeping us on our toes. Greg is jumping in there as well. We have Rolando. Got it. Okay, Rolando in there as well. My Tech Reviews, of course, Aditya Anil, as usual, TKception, IR 1980, of course, Aditya, hashtag TKR Bay, as always. Scott, mind blown, dude. I love it. That look. Guys, seriously. So Scott has the exact opposite of the beard that I have. He has the white spot is in the middle, and mine is on the other side. It's almost like he took my picture and just messing there. My Tech here, the new for Twitch 2020, of course. Greg in there as well. Everybody else is jumping in as well, of course, as usual. And Matt Tyler winning the award for the most amount of hashtags in one comment. TKception, TKR Bay, the TK, and Juan Bagnell, some LG chill guy, some punchable face guy, and hopefully some guy talking to me on Thursday night guy. Joe is in there, of course, as well. Ronaldo. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with it. It just maybe it's the coffee. Maybe it's I'll blame it on the coffee. I'll blame it on the coffee. Always, guys. Yeah, no, definitely. It's one of those things that I appreciate, just being able to hang out with you guys, honestly. And with the end of 2020 coming about like this, I have to say that it's crazy. It's crazy how things have been going on, and I really hope that you guys are doing well, trying to stay safe. As a DTS jumping in, thank you TK. Chat was fun. Enjoyed the shows, and of course, and the company, of course. Everyone stay safe, warm. Have a great weekend ahead, and yeah, definitely. We're back. We're back. It always ends up being this way. The StreamYard always finds that perfect time. If you guys haven't had a chance to, just to kind of do a quick recap of what we talked about today, next Thursday on the 17th of December is going to be our first show. So Juan Carlos and myself are going to basically have our first get together, and it's going to be a weekly show going on around Thursday. We're going to try to keep it around Thursday, but scheduling wise, we're going to have to see how it goes within the next few weeks after that, because Thursdays for the next few weeks after, I think, if I'm not mistaken, lands on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, which are a little bit harder time, obviously, with the family and so on. But short answer, looking forward to hanging out with you guys next Thursday again. Monday's show, obviously, as usual, Juan Carlos will have his normal show, as well as Sam and Matt obviously will have, his normal show that he normally has. I think tomorrow, and Sam, if I don't think Matt is in there, I think Sam is. I'm not sure if he's still around. Let me know if who's your guest for tomorrow's show. But yeah, tomorrow 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Juan, too many TKs. Let's see here. TK Juan after dark. Oh, that's not a bad idea. TK after dark. Yes. The moonlight, TK and Juan moonlighting, TK Juan. No. So it is a little bit late. Yes. I need to talk to Juan about the timing on it. I think it was more because of the, when our time slot goes on. So this, I'm not sure how many of you will be able to join, but I would love it if you guys are able to pop in and say hi. But you're right. Yeah. So if it's, I think if we're trying to shoot for like a 9 p.m. at 9 p.m. Pacific plus 8 is, yeah, it's like close to like 4 to 5 a.m. in the morning. So it's going to be early. I'm not sure how that goes, but I think we're going to see how the timing goes out. We'll see. But at least that's how we're inaugurating it, at least then. But with that being said, I want to say thank you to Matt. Thank you to Aditya, IR 1980, of course. Greg, Rolando, Joe, I think if I'm not mistaken, right there, yeah, Joe is in there, L2 Games as well, and you know what, Apple is definitely taking advantage of that. I'll talk a little bit more about that next week when we have the headphones together. So Juan and I'm sure, as you can imagine, Juan feels very strongly about those headphones, and I did mention to him that I'm picking them up. So with that being said, I want to say thank you very much to Marilyn, also Matt, to Scott, Aditya, Ronaldo, and of course I keep saying Matt all the time, Joe, Greg, and I think I got Pugy. Hopefully I'm saying this. It is a little bit hard. I do appreciate the effort of trying to join us there. But with that being said, I want to say, hope you have a great rest of the day, a great weekend. And of course, hopefully, if you are getting ready for the holidays and spending time with your family, I hope you stay safe, you stay warm. We're starting to feel it here in Southern California. It's actually really nice, really cold. I think yesterday the highest we got was like 60. And that's actually pretty cold for us. Normally, we're more like around the 80 to 90 degree Fahrenheit, not Celsius, Fahrenheit. So I do want to say, if again, I always recommend, if you haven't had a chance to do this, call somebody that you haven't talked to for some time. Reach out to a friend, a family member that you haven't talked to for some time. I'm almost 100% appreciative of the fact that I have friends that are reaching out and getting in touch with me that they haven't talked to for a long time. One of my high school buddies as well was talking to me about building up or resetting his system and getting it up and running. He want, for us to be able to play games, video games together. And this is something we haven't done since back in the day where, bulletin boards were a thing and a 14.4 modem was a thing. If you guys remember what those things are, then you're as old as I am. If you don't, then good for you, because you're missing out on a lot of frustrations when somebody picks up the phone and makes a call when you were online. So, but I do want to say definitely thank you very much for everybody coming in, and of course hanging in there with all of the technical difficulties that we had this morning. I think Cyberpunk 2077 is a great game, and I am going to be turning this guy. So this is the Millennium Falcon. We had a chance to do a quick hands-on with this earlier, showing you guys what it looked like. I'm going to be turning this guy over to my son. This is his pride and joy, so it's going to be his, obviously, to play. And I just really like the detail. Of course, I dropped a piece. But you can definitely see here, let's see, right there. Like you can see Lando right there. He's right at you. He's coming in. And you can appreciate definitely seeing just the detail level that you get there. And of course, full frame camera, so right there does blur effect beautifully, like butter. So I'll put that actually over here. And then of course, that nice little on the air unboxing of a nice little package, getting it from Team Pixel, which was definitely very nice. I love those little snippets. But again, with that being said, we are at the 2-hour mark, and we're going to be ending it right on the dot as usual. Thank you very much. See you guys very soon. Take care. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll Sam and Matt on the Across the Podcast, and Monday on Juan's show. Take care.